Thank you. Oh.
Right. Here we go. Good morning, Chef. It's so nice to have you. I would like to introduce you to our viewers who are expected to be future chefs. We have executive chef Eric Rupin here, who is a tutor at the School of Le Cordon Bleu Istanbul. Welcome, Chef.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. Would you please briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, my name is Eric Rupin. I'm a Swiss national, and I'm of course a trained chef, trained on French cuisine in Switzerland. And during my career, I traveled to many countries in the world, like Bermuda, South Africa, to really improve my knowledge also about international kitchen. First, I came in 1990 to Turkey. I was the first executive chef in Çiğdem Palace. And then I also worked many years for Turkish Airlines. And now since 3 years, I'm the chef instructor at Le Cordon Bleu Istanbul.
Thank you, Chef. So I speak to professionals like yourself. I respect your energy, your years in the career. It's so precious. So I believe you will be a very important guideline to our students, future students. Can you please talk about the classes, how they take place in your school? Do they work individually? For how many hours? On what classes do they work? A broad explanation would be excellent.
Yeah, of course, we have in our school 2 departments. One is the cuisine and one is the pastry. And students have the possibility to study for the Grand Diplôme. Grand Diplôme means they will study in both departments, pastry or cuisine. Or otherwise, they have also the possibility just to study for the pastry diploma or for the cuisine diploma. So each section, also like pastry or cuisine, is divided into 3 sections. We have a basic level, we have an intermediate level, and as of course we have the superior level. In order to obtain the diploma, of course, you have to take all 3 levels. One level for cuisine is divided into 30 lessons, and it takes about 3 months. So to have all 3 sections, you have to have about 9 months. Takes time to study. So students, of course, when they come for the basic level, I will start with the basic level. Then when they come to us, of course, in the basic level, we really focus on the technique. You know, it's like when you build a house, you cannot start with the roof. You have to start with the fundament. And if you don't to have a good fundamental, otherwise your house will collapse sooner or later. So we will start with the basics. So our classes, one lesson is about 6 hours. And it is divided into 2 sections. First of our students will attend a 3 hours demonstration lesson in our auditorium. And there, our professional chef instructors, they will demonstrate, depending on the technique, on the level of the course. They will, sorry, I will just have to get it.
No problem.
Battery.
No problem.
We have low power. I'm very sorry about that.
No problem.
So they will attend 3 hours demonstration, and the chef will show step by step the whole dish or a recipe for that. And then the students will go to the kitchen to a practical session. In the practical session, of course, we will break down the classes to maximum 16. So each student, they will have their individual working station with their own equipment, stove on their own space. And then they have 2 hours to replicate some, not all of the recipes, but we will choose which recipe because, of course, as a student cannot work as fast as an instructor. They have to replicate this dish. And then they have to present this dish to the teacher, and they will receive a grade accordingly. So pastry works the same way, but however, the pastry is divided into 20 lessons. That's how our one lesson works approximately.
Okay, so how are students graded? How do you decide on the grades?
So,
are they technical or
of course, they will individually present their dish to the instructor. They will receive a grade on 4 subjects, like the technique, presentation, organization, as well as hygiene. And hygiene, of course, includes all the personal hygiene, food handling practices, general kitchen cleaning, health and safety, uniform. This is the basics, which they get a grade. And then in organization, of course, they have to meet a certain time if they are in time to present the dish. And how is their organization? How is their workstation organized? Is it clean? Is it well organized? How is the timing? And then we go to the technical aspect. If they, students in the basic or in the intermediate level, they have to follow the presentation of the teacher. They have, they will receive a picture and they have to follow according to that. So the presentation, is the plate clean, is the food hot, and so on. Is the portion size correct? So they will also receive a grade into that. On the superior level, they are more flexible. They can choose their own presentation. We will encourage them to be creative and find their own style on the course. Then on the technique, they will receive a further grade, which includes the correct preparation and so on. If all the techniques are followed, test, salt, and so on. The seasoning, which is usually the most important thing of the dish. So that's how they will receive a grade, and all these 4 points will be divided as added together, and then they get an average grade from 1 to 10. By the end of the course, students have to reach more than 55 out of 100. Otherwise, they will be not eligible to participate in the final exam.
Okay. So another question that I have in my mind would be like, how would you describe an excellent student or a very good student? What would their properties be?
Well, first of all, of course, the passion for food, for cooking. But I assume everybody has it, otherwise they wouldn't register for such a course. And you need to be patient because as a student, when you graduate from this course, you will have the base. And only then you're going to start to develop your personality. You will have to put the head down and work. So I expect somebody that is very disciplined, takes notes, follows the things, and is really passionate about it. And is really, they decide how much they will learn, because we teach, it's everybody's personal decision to But the most important thing is the discipline.
Okay.
Be able to follow instruction and have discipline. And be patient, because 3 months, 9 months is a long time. Yeah. So you have to be really into it.
Yeah.
But we have students who decide after the basic level that it's not for them, and sometimes they drop out. It happens rarely. But usually we can catch the students to the subject, and they get very enthusiastic, and they really like the job.
I personally also believe that enthusiasm is the first thing, and you have to be very strong physically and mentally, very strong to be able to do this job. It's a tiring job, but it's such a satisfying, fulfilling job if you love it. And as you have said, some students might drop out, but it's a good sign. It's good that they try and they find which side of the job is good for them. My other question would be
exactly.
This is quiet, how shall I say it? I mean, you can do many things if you learn this profession, I believe. And there are many different aisles that you can go through. You could become a pastry chef. You could work in a small institution. You could work in a large restaurant or a hotel. Can you a little bit explain about, I know you have a very successful and a very large career that is full of variants. You worked in hotels, you worked in large institutions like Turkish Airlines and so on. So if a student is a graduate of one of the gastronomic universities, what are their options? Yes, they become a chef, and what else?
Well, of course, when you became a chef, you have the base. You will apply in different restaurants. And I really suggest to try different things, you know. You can work in a small cafe, and it is very satisfying, and you will be happy there. And in a small cafe, you will have more responsibility. You can design dishes. However, you can also go to a hotel, big hotel, which we have many nice 5-star hotels in Turkey. But the disadvantage is there. You are in a big team, and you have to follow strict direction, and your ability to try something or experience something will be less as in smaller places. However, you should see both, because this is very important for your understanding which one is better. You can go to a hotel, maybe you find out, I like to banquet service, that's for me. I like to do banquets, big batch production. Or you may think, yeah, that's not for me. I like a la carte. Or, you know, this is very individual. And that's why I really suggest to try different things. And at the beginning, don't stay too long at the same job, because, you know, in the school, you will get a basic knowledge of a very wide range of subject. But when you go to a restaurant, it is more limited techniques you will see, and you will do one technique a lot. So you will get practice in that. That's the difference between the culinary school and the restaurant. In a culinary school, you will see a technique once or twice. And the advantage in a restaurant is you practice the same technique many times and you become better. However, it is limited, you know, and it's just limited to the menu it is served at that particular restaurant. And then you shouldn't be afraid also to go different ethnic restaurants, which, for example, in Istanbul, we have from Peru, from Mexican restaurant, Italian restaurants. So you should try different things. It looks good on your CV. But then after a while, you should settle, because at the end of the day, you want to have a career, and you want to earn also some money, have family, and progress in your life. So after 5 years, you should know what you want.
Okay, that's a little bit of a partial answer to my next question. What would be the I mean, people think that an executive chef cooks all the time. That's a false belief that I see in many of my students. Can you also explain how long it would take a chef to become a good chef, and then what are the responsibilities of an executive chef? What does an executive chef mean? I know it comes from the word execute, but I want you to explain to the future students to arrange their expectations properly. To become a chef, you have to work for about 5 years, as you have said. And if you want to open your own restaurant, what kind of an experience should you have? And so on. The microphone is yours.
Thank you. So, you know, of course, if you go to a restaurant, the head chef is a working head chef, means the head chef will cook. This is also a matter for the cost, because smaller restaurant cannot afford. So you have to be organized. At the same time, you have to also work in the kitchen during the service. Let's see the example of you're the executive chef of a 5-star hotel in Istanbul. Of course, head chef or the executive chef, it's not necessarily always the ones who is the best in cooking. Mm-hmm. To be a good chef is one thing, but however, it takes all the, you know, your talents of how to lead a team. How is your connection with people? You can be a very excellent chef, but very bad working in a team. So you won't be chosen to be the head chef. So then, of course, you have, this is the base that you have to perfectly master all culinary techniques, know all the ingredients and so on. Then what the executive chef does, he plans and designs all the menus. He oversees all the purchasing and controls the goods which he receives to his kitchen. He doesn't do personally the purchasing, calling the suppliers. However, he is close in contact. Usually big hotels, they have their dedicated purchasing department. In smaller restaurants, he will call directly the suppliers. Then he has to be very strong in cost calculation, because this is the plus on outer things where everybody is managed, also measured. It's the cost. It's in every business, the cost counts. He's then also responsible for all the condition in the kitchen, sanitation, cleanliness, organization, and so on. He has to employ people. He has to choose his team. He has to work very closely with the human resource department to get the right chefs. He has to have the very good mix between experienced and less experienced people. And, you know, and then next to this, you know, he has to have good connection with clients, you know. He has to have interaction with the clients, you know. He has to be out, he has to show his face. It's more and more important. He has to have to have a good presence in the social media. This becomes more and more important, you know. So, I mean, as an executive chef has to be everything. He has to be a good manager. He has to be an accountant. He has to be a good communicator, and he has to be an artist. And so that is, it's actually quite a difficult job. You have to know a lot of things.
Yes, I completely agree with you. All I'm trying to explain to the students, the future students, is that this is a multidisciplinary job. To be a cook is something, To be a chef is something else, either a restaurant chef or a large hotel's executive chef. As you have explained, they don't necessarily have to cook, they don't necessarily have to be the best chef, but they have to be the best managers, which takes completely different skills than cooking. So it's very important to know yourself, what you're good at. You can choose to be just a simple cooking chef, cook, or you can choose to be an executive chef, but they are completely different careers. I'm very pleased that we agree on that. And I would also like to add, I wonder if you agree, that our job also includes science, simple, basic science, mathematics, physics, biology, and chemistry. Would you agree with me?
Absolutely. You know, in the past, when I started to cook, you know, when we didn't get teaching about the science, they just told us this is because it's like that, you know. But in these days, people have to know what is yeast, how does yeast work, what is fermentation. You have to know the science behind it. We didn't know that in the past, but now in the new schools and the new generation, they really need education in these things, and this becomes more and more important. Cooking and science, they have to go together. Absolutely. This is very important subject.
Dear Chef, I'm coming to the end of my interview with you. I have a personal question. Which cuisine do you enjoy the most from all the world cuisines? And how would you grade Turkish cuisine? That's my personal question. Which is your favorite?
Well, of course, because I was grown up with the French cuisine. I still like it a lot. Then, of course, the Italian cuisine is very natural. It has nice ingredients. I like it very much. And since I have, in many years now in Turkey, of course, I have studied intensely the Turkish cuisine, and I have traveled a lot and I've seen a lot. So Turkish cuisine is, it's a cuisine which comes from rural area. Of course, there is also a palace cuisine, from the Ottoman times, the palace cuisine. But the general Turkish cuisine came from the simplicity, It had to be economic, People had to be creative to make with little things great dishes. So, and Turkish cuisine is also very local, every area, Gaziantep, Mediterranean, they have different cuisines. So it is one of the greatest cuisines, it's a great thing. I enjoy very much. And I'm also know a lot of Turkish dishes and also know how to cook Turkish food. So, for example, the Turkish breakfast is the greatest breakfast on the world. I have traveled a lot. I've never seen such a variety and such a richness, especially of the Turkish breakfast.
Thank you very much. I'm flattered. So my last question is, I always suggest that the students see international cuisines and they work internationally. When you're young, it's so nice. It's so good for you to travel all around the world. It's like you can experience many different things and then choose among those experiences, whatever is best for you. So I suggest they should study international cuisines. They should be interested in international cuisines. And I suggest they should speak at least English as a foreign language, and plus French or German or whatever. What do you say about this?
Yeah, every language additionally to your own language doubles your horizon. It's like doubling your opportunities. First of all, of course, you have the opportunity to work in other countries. You can apply for a job. And even if the country doesn't have English as their main language. Still, most countries have English as a second language. That's when I was able to come to Turkey, start to work in Turkey, because that was the requirement. You need to speak English. So I could communicate with the people here. And also a second language, you know, when you apply in a 5-star hotel, it's very likely you may work with foreign chefs. And that is really a plus if you are able to communicate with the chef. So it also accelerates your career. You will go, you get more likely a promotion when you communicate with your boss. You cannot communicate with your boss. And you have foreign general managers here and so on. And as I said, you are able to travel and to work in other countries, which looks very good in your CV. When you come back again, you will be able to get much easier a better job. You get better payments. And really, this is, you get a more global understanding. You can follow on the social media the English, you can read English recipes, you can read about other culture, and you can educate yourself. Remember, it's so important, the language. I think it's the greatest gift you can give yourself, learn another language.
Yes, Chef, thank you very much. Anything else you would like to add?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. As I say, chef, like not only as chef, it's in every profession in the world. Hard work is the way to success. Educate yourself, never stop learning, never stop learning. I'm still learning every day. Thank you so much for having you. It was a great day.
Very grateful. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your experiences with me. I hope you will have a wonderful educational year in front of us. See you again at other occasions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a
Bye.